Hi everyone, we're back. A new lesson unit on exponents and exponentials, and you should have your notes, okay? So this needs to be completed. You should have your examples filled in here, and you should have tried these and already checked your answer, because these are the 6 basic rules that we're going to use. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to put them all together, okay? And it's going to look scary, but as long as you follow all the rules and you don't make up any rules, no magic, okay, no magic, no canceling without following the correct rules, then you're going to be okay. Okay, it's time to put the many exponent properties together in one expression and simplify. It's not that difficult, but you have to go step by step. So you can't go from here straight to the answer, okay? You have to do a few steps. These may go in a different order depending on what you're given. I think that's where the students get most confused, is that the teacher can't tell you this is exactly how you do it, because you're going to be given different experiences each time. Do you see how this fraction's all the way in the parenthesis with a power? But this is a fraction that's not in a parenthesis with a power, so we're going to have to go in a different order. Okay, so here's just some tips. Let me see, I might fill in. Simplify inside any parentheses. Do you know how to spell parentheses? Spell the word parent, and then thesis, but only one T. Parentheses. I don't know if that's right. I should look it up. Okay, so simplify inside the parentheses, like we're going to simplify inside this before we do that power. If you're ever given a fraction, simplify the numerator and denominator separately. Denominator. So if you have a mess on the bottom, you're going to clean that up, and a mess on the top, you clean that up. Using, you'll use the product property, meaning, what's the product property say? A to the m times a to the n. If you're multiplying the same base, then you add the exponents, plus sign, okay? After you simplify the parentheses, you can apply the power rule if you have a power. Oh, the power rule, that's that exponent, okay, or power property. I'm trying to use the official language here. So after we clean up the inside here, we'll apply this power of 2. All bases with negative exponents need to be moved, and the exponent changes to positive. So that's the negative rule. I like to have my students sing the song. If you ever have a negative exponent, you move it. So is that one song, what is that from the movie Madagascar? I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. So you move it and you make it positive. Why? I don't know, your teacher will show you an example in class as to why that's the definition for negative exponents. So if you have a negative, like a to the negative 5, you have to move it to the denominator. And if it's negative in the denominator, you move it up. Go ahead and draw an arrow if you want to. Okay, check to see if you can use the product, quotient, or power rule anymore. And then make sure you have no negative exponents in your answer, and that each base only appears one time. That's how you know that you're simplified. Okay, ready? Here we go. I'm going to do 2 of these, and then you're going to do 3 and 4, and there will be a quiz on this in your future, so pay attention. So you see, number 1, I'm not going to worry about that 2 because this says simplify inside the parentheses first. So I'm going to worry about the inside here. And I'm going to simplify the numerator and denominator, is that how you spell it? Using the product property. Oh, la 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 la. Okay, lights are back on. Ready? In the numerator here, are there any bases to multiply? Like, do we have any of the same base? I don't see. So actually, we're not going to touch our numerator because there's nothing to combine using the product property, okay? But in the denominator, I see an x to the 4 here and an x to the 0 here. I also see that 2. Let's bring that 2 out in front. Now, x to the 4 times x to the 0. When you multiply the same base, you add the exponent. So what's 4 plus 0? 4. So this is going to be 2x to the 4. And then combine the y's. So we have y to the 0 plus y. Oh, when you can't see it, it's a little silly, isn't it? When you can't see it, it's not 0. When you can't see a power, it's the number 1. But when you have a 0, it's 0. And 0, okay, slow down here. 0 plus 1, y to the 0, times y to the 1 is y to the 1. Okay, and I'm not going to write it there. All right, do you see how now the numerator is simplified and the denominator is simplified? Do you agree that we have less terms than we did before? Yep. Okay, next step. Let's simplify our fraction inside the parenthesis. Okay, what is 2 divided by 2? 2 divided by 2? It's the number 1. So, hiya, this is my little margin work here. Okay, so those divide to the number 1. Now, let's look at the x's inside the parentheses. Okay, I have 3 x's on top and 4 x's on the bottom. So, you could do 4 minus 3. What's 4 minus 3? 1. But where is the 1x going to be left over? Where were there more x's? There were more x's on the bottom. So because 4 is bigger, the x to the power of 1 will stay on the bottom. What did I just do? I did this. There were x cubed on top, x to the 4th on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, cancel, and 1x is left in the denominator. So there are my x's. Okay, what's with the y's? Do you see how this says y to the negative 4? What does that mean? That means we need to move it to the denominator. So I'm going to have this y still here, and I'm going to move the y to the 4 to the denominator. What happens when everything goes away? We leave a number 1, not 0, but 1. Okay, let's keep going. 1 over x. Now, what do you say our power of y is in the denominator there? If we have y to the 1 times y to the 4, it's going to be y to the 5. Could you have figured that out here? Yeah, you could have done 1 minus negative 4. 1 minus negative 4 would be 1 plus 4, which is 5, but one step at a time. Okay, do you agree that this is all the way simplified inside the parentheses? Yes. So after the parentheses have been simplified, apply that power property. So the power, or this exponent of 2, it has to go to everything inside, everything. So what's 1 squared? 1 squared is 1. Very good. What's x squared? X squared is x squared. Very good. What is y to the 5 squared? So the power of a power property. When you have a power of a power, we're going to multiply. And guess what? We're done. Did that take a lot of time? Yes, but it was just each step one by one. I didn't break any rules. I just followed each step one by one. Okay, do we have a big parenthesis with a power like we did here? No. So what's next then? We're going to simplify the numerator and the denominator on its own. Okay, so I'm going to write equals. Now, we can play with this numerator. That's fine. Do you see this power of 2? We're going to distribute it. It's not really distributing, but it kind of is distributing. It's like the English word of distribute. We're going to give this power to everything inside, but it's 2 squared is 4, and then you have to multiply negative 2 times negative 2, which is negative 4. This is, you guys know it's all multiply, whether there's a dot there or not. Why is there a dot there and not there? I don't know. That's just the way it is. It's all multiply. Everyone agree with my numerator? Did I break any rules? No. Did I make anything up? No. Okay, let's look at the bottom. That 2, I'm just going to move the 2 in front. I'm allowed to do that. Let's go according to the alphabet. A to the negative 1. Are there any other A's to combine that with? No. Okay, what about the B's? Can we combine the B's? I have B to the 4 and B to the 0. B to the 4 times B to the 0, when you multiply the same base, you add the powers. All right. That's all I'm going to do on step 1. Guess what? Am I going to start playing with this and crossing things off? No. No. Guess what? I'm going to write a new step. Step 2. I have my fraction. Most likely we'll keep a fraction. Okay, what is 4 divided by 2? 4 divided by 2 is 2. Let's move these negative powers, yeah? I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Okay, here's how I like to explain this. Ready? We're going to move these 4 b's down here, but there were already 4 b's there. So if you have 4 b's and you're adding 4 more b's, then we have how many b's in the denominator? We're going to have b to the power of 8, right? Okay, what about the letter a? A to the negative 1, that's a negative power, so we just need to move it up. Are there any other a's to combine it with? Nope. So we have that, and I think that's our final answer. Well, that wasn't that bad. Okay, you guys are going to try these. Try really hard. Just follow the rules. Don't make anything up. No magic. Okay, I'm going to do some examples on the back now. I have 4 minutes. We're going to go quick. Write each expression in exponential form. So powers on the top, roots on the bottom. So whatever the root is, also called the index, goes in the denominator of your fraction, and the power, or the exponent goes in the numerator of this rational expression. Rational exponent is what I meant to say. Okay, ready? Powers on the top. What's the power here? 3. Roots on the bottom, 3 over 5. And then I think this is what it wants us to do. It wants us to write it like this. But you guys, these are the same. So I want you to just practice that. Well, how do you want it? It's not how I want it right now. We're practicing writing it both ways, okay? Why is this negative? Because that was in the denominator. Okay, ready? Square root of n. Don't think too hard. What's the power? What is the power on the n? What power is here if you can't see it? Power of 1. And what root is this? This is the square root. So n to the 1/2 is the square root. Guess what? Welcome to high school math. Okay? You need to know that for the rest of your life. The square root is the 1/2 power. Okay, here we have 1. Oh, how come this wasn't negative? Well, it wasn't in a fraction, right? Okay, roots, powers on the top, roots on the bottom. So the power was 3 and the root was 2, and that was in the denominator, so we're just going to practice writing it with a negative exponent. And let's do this one. 2k. Powers on the top. Which one's the power? The exponent. And which one's the index or the root? Powers on the top, roots on the bottom. That's it. You're going to do the rest. Okay. Write each expression in radical form. So now we're going the other way. But this one's negative. So first you have to move it down. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Okay. Powers on the top. So the power will be the 5. Roots on the bottom, and the root will be the 3, and we're done. The 1/3 power, okay, if the 1/2 power is the square root, then the 1/3 power, are you ready, is the cube root. Cube root, because the power is 1, so you don't have to write that 1. You could just write the cube root. What about this? The cube root of 4r to the power of 2. I'm going out of order here. Powers on the top, roots on the bottom. So 1/4 would just be the 4th root to the power of 1. Okay, you're going to try the rest. So you should have 1 through 20 finished. But the bottom here, you guys, we need to go over this in class. Okay, it's really exciting though. It's fun to do these rational exponents with numbers. So thanks for watching, and good luck finishing.